All right, so we got Rufus's harness, and there's a blue part and a red part, and the blue part goes on top. There's a little tag in case you forget, because I do sometimes. There's also these rings on the side with clips, and this is where the arm bars for his wheels go through. So he knows what this means. I find it's easier, all right, just to kind of put it on him when he sits up like that. I'll get him clipped in. Oh, he's sinking down. All right. So now he knows that he's going for a walk. And then next, as I line up his wheels with his back end, and then I kind of just gently lift him up, gently put his legs through the saddle holes, and then slowly lift it up. If you lift up too quickly, sometimes his joint will get stuck back here and his leg will kind of get trapped in a weird position. So it's just better to go slow and make adjustments. And then next, you slide the arm bar through the hole on his harness, clip it in. Do the same thing on the other side. So now he's in. He might be excited, but he does know what hold up means. So if he takes off and starts scampering around, he knows what hold up means. He sometimes listens. He listens about 85% of the time. So after you get him in his wheels, I take off the back end part of his harness. So you just unclip it from the front part, and then I unclip 3 sides of it. And then I gently lift him up, kind of pull it out. There he goes. And then I toss it aside for later when we get back. The reason I take the back end of his regular harness off is because the combination of that and the saddle on his wheels pushes up into his groin, and it makes it harder for him to pee on walks, which is what you want him to do. And then next comes, he thought that was all done. We have a little pad for his left hip. So I kind of lift him up gently again and kind of stuff it in there, because otherwise his left hip will bang on this. And you also want to make sure it's clear of his butthole, because he will poop, and he will poop on this. So just ask me how I know. And then next comes his shoes. And I find it's easier to put them on from behind. Just kind of bend his foot back gently. And then I usually put him on with his toe on the floor like that. That way I make sure that it's all the way, his foot's all the way in there. And I make sure that it's tight enough so that his foot, it doesn't fall off, but it doesn't cut off circulation to his feet.
And you gotta watch his toenails.
Oh yeah, sometimes his toenails will get caught on the inside of the shoe. So that's one of the ways that it helps. Like if I have his toes pointed directly down when I'm putting them in, it just helps make sure that his toes are all the way to the bottom. All right. And then just when you think you're done, we got the last piece before his leash. This is knuckle up brace. I find it's easier to loosen it up part way, this top part, just so that there's a little bit more give when I'm putting it on. And this also needs to be pretty tight, otherwise it will slide off and will make his walk painful. So, what I do is I wrap it, the top part goes around his hock up here, and I kind of hold it tight and slide it around. There's 2 pieces of Velcro. There's one on this main part, and then there's like another little flappy part. So you just want to make sure that both are down. And then for the last but not least piece is making sure that his knuckle brace is on the outside of his foot. And this foot is pretty fragile, so I kind of have to be careful, even though it's hard. Just slide the silicone band around his toe, and usually right around the tape line. Slightly on the tape, but right around the tape line is the best spot. And then tightening it up so that this part is tight all the way up. Because if it's not, what will happen is his foot will drag too much and it'll aggravate his knee and his leg. When he walks, he kind of swings it around, and if his toe is able to knuckle under, it just ends up aggravating his leg on the walks, which is what we don't want. You want his foot to be at about a 90-degree angle. And the reason why is if he can curl his toe under or catch the front part of his foot, it causes his foot to bend back, and then the silicone band pops off the back of his foot over the course of the walk, and then you have to stop and adjust it. And that is anticlimactic for everyone. And now he's ready to go for his walk.
Except for a leash.
Except for the leash. He will go for a walk by himself without the leash if you let him. And he will leave you in the dust. Okay. This is his ideal gait. He might get tired over time and then drag his left foot more. And so with that, it just might need rest. You might need to recalibrate depending on the angle and slope of the hill, on which direction of the street you're going on. So yeah, also when he stops like this, he could be pondering life's mysteries, he could be trying to pee, or he might need an adjustment. So yeah, looks like he just needed to readjust himself, take a break for this time. If he is dragging his left leg too much, and or his right foot is not flexing, even though it's still scuffing, you can lift up the back of the frame by pushing. There's a couple buttons back here. And just lift it up temporarily for this walk. It will throw off the center of gravity for him, so if he does go on a steeper slope and then try to back up, there's a pretty good chance that he will tip over. So just FYI. What can cause him to tip over is if he is going up even a slight slope in somebody's yard and then tries to back up. He can tip over backwards. Or if he's going downstairs and one wheel falls off the side, or he catches a wheel on a rock or a piece of furniture and then tries to stubborn his way through it, he could tip over that way. What I do if he does tip over is lift up the frame instead of trying to lift him up and out of it. I think it's easier to get him back into his wheels if you kind of lift him and the frame up in conjunction, but primarily the frame. His walks are really the only time of the day where he gets to walk around like a normal dog and sniff and do normal dog things. So sometimes he is reluctant to come inside post-walk. Depending on how you're feeling, how hot it is, If you want to take him for a longer walk, that's totally fine. He can usually do about 30 to 40 minutes. But yeah, he might not want to come inside at the end of his walk. They might need to take frequent breaks in the shade. I also try to avoid walking them on the asphalt because it gets really hot on their feet. One thing that helps me get him in and out of the house is if I open the storm door and prop it open. His wheels tend to catch on the door coming in and out. And also if I have both dogs at the same time, not having to worry about the door helps. Another thing I do while he's still in his wheels is let him drink as much as he wants to. It's just easier when he's standing up. Also, I offer him the rest of his breakfast if he didn't finish it, still while he's in his wheels, because it's easier for him to eat when he's standing. So to get Rufus out of his wheels and back into his back end harness, I have...
Hey, hold on.
He's escaping. I still have the 3 parts connected from when we took it off. I clip this on to his harness, slide it between the frame, connect it on the other side. You want to make sure that the round part is pointing forward. And clip it in, and then I unhook him from the frame and slide that off, drop it a little bit. I think it's easier because the frame provides a little bit of support for him. Hold on. And then you gotta get fresh with them and thread the 2 tails of the harness underneath and reconnect it. And then I lift him out and take him wherever he wants to go, which is usually the couch in the TV room. All right, come on, dude. Come on. Good boy. If for some reason the bottom part of his back end harness gets separated from the handle, it's kind of confusing to reattach it. So what I do is I will attach one side with the curved part facing out, because that's basically where his peeing sets in when he's peeing or when you lift him up. And then it kind of curves up around his body, and then I clip in the other side of it before I do the 2 back straps. Don't forget to take off the red, blue, and black wheels harness before he lays down on his dog couch in the TV room or wherever else he wants to land.